This is a G major chord. This is a tempo of 120 beats per minute in 4/4 time, and this drum beat is called the 8th note groove. Now, what do all of these things have in common? Well, all of them are literally the most commonly used elements in popular music. G major is the most used chord, 120 beats per minute is the most used tempo, and the 8th note groove is the most common drum beat. Every single one of these has been done millions of times, so by definition, none of them are original. But if we were to record a song using all of these elements, would it feel unoriginal? Let's find out. For this song, I'm going to use a chord progression that has been used in countless songs over the past 100 years. The chord progression is G major, D major, A minor, C major, and D major. This is the exact same chord progression used in Live Forever by Oasis, Archie Marry Me by Always, and about 15 million other songs. There is nothing original about it, but is that a bad thing? If you look up the most popular guitar chords on Google, you will be shown this list. And within this list is every single chord we're using for our song today. It's interesting because there are way more chords than this. So what is it about these chords that make them so popular? I thought about this a lot, and I think it comes down to two factors. First, they're easy to play, and second, they're recognizable. G major is literally the first chord I learned on guitar, and when I start strumming it, there's something nice and familiar about it. Compare that to something less common like D flat major. It sounds good, but doesn't sound quite as familiar as G major does. When developing chord progressions, it's important to remember that every single possible chord has been played before. It is impossible to truly be original, but that doesn't mean these classic chords aren't good. Next, we're going to give this song a beat. I'll be playing a variation of the standard 8th note groove, which again is the most used drum beat in the history of music. And with a tempo of 120 beats per minute, we will literally have the most common beat being played at the most common tempo. But if this beat and this tempo are so common, how come we don't notice it every time we hear it in a song? How familiar you are with a style of music determines how likely you are to pick up on the intricacies that make the music within that genre unique. For example, I've had many times where a rock fan will say to me that they don't like rap because it all sounds the same. Similarly, I've heard rap fans say the same thing about rock music. Nirvana and Led Zeppelin are completely different from one another, the same way Snoop Dogg and Nas are. But for someone who doesn't listen to the genre, it may just sound like generic rap. On the other side of the coin, if you find yourself thinking something is highly original, it probably isn't as original as you'd think. You can always go back to a previous incarnation that served as inspiration. For example, All Time Low was inspired by Blink-182. Blink-182 was inspired by The Descendants. The Descendants were inspired by the Ramones. The Ramones were inspired by the Stooges, and the Stooges were inspired by the Kinks. And every single one of those bands have many songs that use the standard 8th note groove because it's timeless, it's classic, and it just works. When it comes to bass lines, the goal is extremely simple: to provide a low-end groove and to connect the chords in a way that complements the drum beat. Given that today's chords and drum beat are as simple as they are common, is there any way to make this bass line original? Sometimes making your bass line too original could literally change the style of the song. This is especially true in classic country music. These bass lines are all basically the same, jumping between the 1st and the 5th position of whichever chord is being played. How many Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson songs have this bass line? And if they didn't have that bass line, would it still feel like a country song? Similarly, the classic 12-bar blues bass line has been used in so many songs, it's kind of unbelievable. Does that mean that writing a song with a 12-bar blues or alternating fifth bass line is inherently unoriginal? Or is it merely a rule we must follow to stay within the genre? Think about it. We need to write some lyrics for this song, and I've always found lyric writing interesting because the topics we can choose to write a song about are essentially infinite. I could write a song about a duck whose house is in foreclosure, so he steals a spaceship from a cowboy and sells it to the CIA to save his house. To the best of my knowledge, that is a completely original premise for a song, but is that something a mass audience would listen to and enjoy, more than, say, a song about love? Audiences like lyrics they can relate to. They want to feel what the artist feels. If it's too hard to understand, if it's too foreign, if it's too original, the listener won't relate to it and the song won't catch on. So considering all of that, I've decided to write these lyrics about the choices we make in life and how that determines who we become. Again, it's been done a million times before, and there isn't anything inherently original about it, but I think it'll still be good because it's relatable. All right, this song is done, and as you are well aware, it has the most common tempo, drum beat, time signature, guitar chords, and subject matter. But even though all of these things may not be original, I don't really think it matters. Because truthfully, people don't care about originality. The only thing that really matters is authenticity. If an artist is authentic, it doesn't matter if the chords they play or the words they sing have been done or sang before, because their uniqueness as a performer is what truly shines. I think the mark of any great art lies within the recognizability of the artist's identity. When I hear the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I immediately know it's them. When I hear Snoop Dogg, I immediately know it's him. When I hear Adele, Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, or Usher, I know it's them. And regardless of how derivative the source material may be, if they're authentic, their identity shines in their music, and the audience can relate to them as individuals. At the end of the day, we all have the same 12 notes. We all play the same chords, and we all sing about the same things. But as individuals, none of us are exactly the same. And that is what it truly means to be original.
You could be alone.